Okay guys, welcome back. It's your humble servant Tochi, and we are here in Tochi's Graphic Academy, the Genius Creators. So just as I promised, this video is actually going to center on the PIXELLAB interface and tools, which will help you to create wonderful designs. Okay, so if you are all ready, then start with the video. Okay, God be with us. Now, the first thing to do is to launch your PIXELLAB application. You tap on it and it launches. Now, when PIXELLAB opens for the first time, you see a canvas. When you say canvas, it is the area provided for you to work with. That's your workspace. Now, it provides you with a background, automatic set background, and a text. Good. Now, all these options here are also automatically set canvases that you can choose. They have backgrounds and text with different fonts used on them. You can choose any of them to start your design. But every design begins from a background. So sometimes you want to start your own. So when you want to start your own, you begin from the background button here. So that is where you start from. Any design, you start from here. You tap on the button and it releases this option. Now, how does a background appear? A background can be one color. It can be a gradient color. It can be an image or any other thing. So let's start. How do we make a background with one color? So you just go to the color button here. You tap on it. Now, you bring it up here. Select color. Now, the color allows you to choose a single color. Note that. So you can tap on any of these colors to have your background changed. Good. Now, what if the colors here are not what you want? You want a particular color for it. You want a particular color for it, but it's not here. You just tap on this plus sign. It's a create button. It's a create button. So you are going to create your own color. Let's say you want a green color. You just tap on the green from the color wheel. Then you use these three rectangles to just treat the color. The first one is about contrast. So contrast, as I've explained, sending it to the right will make the color vibrant. Then sending it to the left will fade it. It will make it less vibrant. Good. Now the value towards the right will make it deeper, and then towards the left will make it dark. Note it. Okay, now this is the transparent aspect. So as you bring it to the right, it makes it more displayed. And then as you send it towards the left, it vanishes because it is getting transparent. Now, how do we create the color? So let's say we want a deeper green. So we treat it from the darker aspect, the value. So we darken it a little bit. Then you tap on OK. Now you can use this button here to pick your own color. That's when you are having or doing a design where you want to pick a color from the design. You just tap there and use this option to just move and select the particular color you want. So let's continue. Once you choose your color, you tap on the check mark and it selects it. Let's move on. Tap on OK. Now that's our color. Now what if you want to pick a gradient color that is forming a background with more than one color? Now you have all these options there that you can tap and choose from. As you can see, all of them combines more than one color. So you can see this is red and yellow there combined. Let's move on. How do we create our own color? So create, I've told you, just tap on the create button. Now let's create our own color. Let's say we want a red in a form of monochrome. So we want red and a darker red. So you just tap on one of the buttons here. So as you can see, this button is the button for the red aspect. That's why you can see red there. This also is for the yellow aspect. You can see yellow there. So you want to change it. So you tap on any of them. Then how do you change the color? You tap on the button here. That's the paint option. You tap on it and you pick a color. What color are you picking? So you choose any color at all. We say we want red. So you just tap on red here. Move it to the far corner. Good. Then you treat it using this sign. Once they are all drawn towards this side, means it is the actual color. It has not been altered. Now, how do you treat it? You want a deeper one, so you just choose from the value option. Take it to the deeper region. Good. Now, you just select it. Okay. Now you come to this part and you choose a color for it. So you want the same red, then you start it from the far end. You want a brighter one, so you can treat it from the faded one. You can just treat it. You get it? Good. Then you tap on OK. So as you can see, what do we have now? We have had a wonderful gradient form color. Now let's look at the options here. This one presents us to how the gradient should be presented. Now you can customize your own presentation by moving it in the direction you want your gradient to be displayed. So you can move it anyhow. That is by your own custom set. But this is a default setting given. So you can tap on any of them to change how they are displayed. Okay, so for instance, we want it this way. You tap on OK. Tap on OK. Now this button here switches the colors. So when you tap it, it will change the position of the colors. Good. And it will switch the colors. So we want it this way. You tap on OK and you are good to go. Now this is your color. Tap on check mark. Then your color is chosen. Good. Now for instance, you don't want to begin with a color. You want to begin from a transparent background. So that is it. Just tap on it and the background is off. It is now transparent. Now let's pick the color again. Then we continue. Now image size. Let's say you are beginning a work. You know the type of work you are doing. Let's say you are doing a square image. You just have to come here and tap on the box here. That's the button here. Then you choose the kind of orientation you want your image size to be, or your design crop size to be. So you just choose a square here, then it presents it in a square. Don't want that, you can, maybe you are doing a YouTube channel banner or YouTube channel, just tap on it, tap on OK, then it sets. Okay, so we have other options that we can choose from. Now if you have a measurement for yourself, let's say you are doing a particular design but you know the accurate measurement you want, just tap on it and you select custom. Now you customize the values here. So if you have the measurement there, you can just type them in and you are good to go. Let's say 1024 by 1024, that's a square size. You just type them in and you are set to go. Okay, now the measurement given in PIXELLAB is in pixels, and so if for instance you take measurement in feet, in centimeters, you need to search from Google like centimeters to pixels. So for instance, if you measure it in feet and you get 5 feet, you just say 5 feet in pixels. So the kind of value given, you come and feed it in this part. Okay, now this button presents you with backgrounds that PIXELLAB has installed. Yeah, so you can just tap on it and you choose any background of your choice. So if you want this, you select it, any background of your choice, you can select them. Then you are good to start your design. So for instance, we want this one, you just select it. What if you have a particular image that you want to bring in and start your design from? So you just tap on this from gallery. When you tap on it, then you go to your gallery and select the particular image. I have this image. So once you select it, you crop it to any standard. So you can crop it with any of these dimensions, any of these orientation, you can crop it. Let me explain something small here. Once it is locked, meaning you are not able to alter the size of the crop orientation, or when you release it, you set your own custom crop. Good. This one will rotate it. Yeah. Then this one returns it to the corners, to switch it to the corners. Now this one would make it a circle, like you choose from a circle. So the cropping will be done in a circular form. There you have it. If you want to alter the circle, make it oval, you just release the lock and you treat it. You understand? Good. Now these buttons reflect the image. So this reflects it horizontally, this one reflects it vertically. Good. Now let's move on and choose a square. Good. Now, for instance, this is the image set. Now, if you want to start from an image shot from your camera, just tap on this button and you do that. Now let's move on. What is the next thing after you choosing a background? You have to add text. Now, adding a text, you go to the button here, the button inscribed A, letter A. That's your text button. So you tap on the text button. Now, currently, if you tap on the text button and there is no text selected, you see, if I tap on the text here, since the text is selected, the options needed to edit the text will appear. But if I've not selected it yet, no option will appear. But the option that will appear is to ask me to add a new text or to add a quote. I will explain the quote, but let me explain the text. So you tap on the new text and it feeds you with a new button or insertion button to type in a text. Good. Let's delete that. Tap on this one to delete. Now let's select this one. Once it is selected, the options to edit it will be given. Now once they are given, you can tap on edit here to just deal with it. You can type in, let's use Emmanuel. Now this button here can change it to the lowercase and upper cases. This will delete it. This will cancel the whole activity, and this will agree or accept the whole thing. Now let's move on. Now this button will delete it, and this button here is the undo button, which can bring it back. Now this button copies or make a duplicate of it. So just as you can see, it's a duplicate. You can duplicate it as many times as you want, depending on what you are doing in your work. Now this front here sends the selected text to the surface of your design. Let me make this clearer by changing the color. So for instance, if this is set to blue and I tap onto top, so you can see here, it is lying on top of the white. If I send it to back, you see the blue will now be behind the white. If I bring it to top, it has now come on top. So you can see how it works. Now positioning, this one deals with you moving your text around in various directions. Now it can be done in pixels. So if you want to speed up the movement, you just increase the move by pixel here. Then it goes a bit faster at higher paces. If you want to make it go slower, you can reduce the pixel or movement. Okay. Relative positioning. Now the relative positioning moves the text with respect to the current position that you have it. And so looking at where the Emmanuel is, if you want to move it towards the far end, you just type on the relative position, you tap on this to send it to the far end. Looking at the arrow here, meaning to the right towards the edge. This one down towards the edge. This one up towards the edge. This one to the left towards the edge. Now the main use of this relative position is used to position a text in the center. So how do you put it in the center? It is by tapping on this button. So this button aligns it to the vertical center. Then this button to aligns it to the horizontal center. So you see, tapping both buttons brings the item or text to the exact center. So let's try that again. To bring it to the center, tap on this first, that second. You can revert it by tapping on this first, that second. So it all aims at bringing it to the center. Okay. Now let's go to text size, where you can trace the size of the text. So as you're increasing it, the size will be increasing. Good. Now, if you want it manually, then you can use your hand to treat it by this button here. Then you can use this button to also alter it this way. Then this button to rotate it. Good. Now let's move on. Padding. Now padding creates space for the text to be displayed inside the text box here. So if you switch the padding, you say padding left, meaning create space on the left. So as you can see, the space has been created on the left. Padding right padding, meaning you should create a space on the right, as you can see. So for instance, there are some fonts where you choose them, parts of the text appear to be hidden. For instance, if I'm to decrease this one, you see this, the Emmanuel is there, all right, but the E is off. So whenever you use a font that appears that a part of the letter is hidden, you should know that the padding is affected. So you go to the padding and you create a space there to pull the hidden part out. Good. Now color, and just as I explained color in the background concept, you just choose the color from there. The only thing I'm adding is with the color, you can choose the part of the text that should be affected by the color. So you can say, let's say the green color should affect the IMA. You tap on green color, so it's affecting only the IMA. This one should be affected by, let's say, black, so you can see what is happening. All right. Now texture brings in a texture for the text, and so you can tap on this to choose any image which you want to use as your texture. So I have textures here that you want to choose for. So let's say I want to use this. Tap on it, then the texture applies very nicely. Good. That is it. Now you can treat the scale of the texture, making it more visible or make it tinier, or you want to expand it and make it bigger. But actually you should set it to 100 so that it will be a normal size. Good. Now if you don't want it, you can tap on the delete button, then it goes off. Now opacity works on its exposure, so its visibility. You can either set it to 0 to make it vanish or be exposed. Now rotate, just as you know it can do, this rotate button too can also work on that, but you need to set the angle properly. So if it is negative, we'll know that it is not very much horizontal, so we set it to 0. Can be to 90, can be to 90. So that's how you can rotate the image. Good. You can tap on this button to reverse the whole thing. All right, let's go to font. You can choose any of the fonts given here, any of the font. Once you tap on the font, it will be shown here so you can see it, and you can select a part that the font should affect. Let's say you want the font chunk 5 to affect only the IMA, so you just select the IMA and you have it there. So that is it. Style talks of it being bold, italic, or underlined. Now you can also use this button to select the parts that should be affected by the particular style you choose. Now when you tap on this button, it cancels or reverses the whole effect you have shown. So if you selected bold, italic, and underline, all the 3 will be affected. They will be cancelled. So for instance, if you select the 3 and you want to clean or remove underline, you need to tap on it to cancel. But remember that the 3 has been cancelled, so now you pick the ones you need. Good. Note that. Now curve also alters or curves your design. Now one thing about the curve is once you choose the curve, these buttons go off. As you can see, these buttons that will be used to regulate its size, they go off. You understand? So once you choose curve, if you want to regulate it, you will need to go back to the rotate, the button that does the rotate. And similarly, if you want to expand the size, you need to go to text size and alter it. Take note of that. That once you select curve, the manual buttons on it vanishes. So you need to use the provided buttons here to work on it. Now let's go to background. Now this one brings in background around the text, so you can choose any color at all. Now the padding, you can treat the padding of the background by working on it from here. The other options are there, they also treat the padding. Now alignment too, can set it to the right align, center align, or left align. Let's have more than one character so that we can see it properly. So let's say I'll do, it's okay. Now so you see the left align is set, the right align to this way, the justify. Have you seen it? This is the center align rather, and this is justify. So that is that. Now you can treat spacing. So this is letter spacing. So if you want to widen the spaces in the letters, you can just treat them by expanding here. Good. You want to close them to can treat it. Now if you want to expand the words, the space in the words, that is maybe for instance like this. You just, this is treating words spacing. Good. And that is that. Let's move on. Now this is line spacing. So if there are two text like this, so you just expand it and it widens the space in the text or the lines. Good. Now this adds stroke. This adds stroke, that is, it brings an outline around the text. So you can enlarge the outline, can change the color of the outline. You can make it a gradient outline, just as you have been introduced to. Now shade also brings or gives a shade to the text. Now opacity talks of how exposed the shade is. Can treat the radius. The radius makes it more sharper or more blur. Good. Now if you want to treat this part, these ones are offset. So where should it be shifted to? So you can offset it towards the x axis means horizontally, then y axis means vertically. So you are offsetting it, means you are shifting it. Good. Now this inner shadow means the shadow should be inside. Good. So the same way you are setting shadow outside, it can be that you want to set the shadow inside the shape. Now emboss, I'll explain later, but the emboss makes it a little bit of a 3D shape. If it will be much visible, unless, okay, let me use it on this one. So tap on emboss here, then you work on it. You can see that the emboss is making it a little bit of a solid figure. Good. It is making it as if a reflective surface. Yeah. So you can use that to treat your designs. Now perspective makes the item appear to have a distance or occupy a distance. So you tap on it, then you can treat its presentation like this. You understand it? Yeah. So that's how the perspective works. Now 3D rotate to rotates it in this form. So it's like a mirror rotation. So it's like that. You want to reverse it, tap there. Now 3D 2 gives it a 3D look. So it can be a perspective look. That is where you are, let me reverse the perspective. Now the 3D in the perspective format makes it appear like it's occupying a distance, but they all draw towards a particular point. So you watch it closely, you can see what is happening there. Now this is oblique, which dives them towards a particular parallel direction. Good. And you can treat it with all these aspects. Now this, So you can see it's only working for 3D shapes. The reflect works for the test. It works for the test rather. Can have its color changed and all that. And reflection too works for the test. You can see it's having some kind of reflection over here. Now one thing about the 3D and the embossers, once you alter the shape, they distort your item. So you can treat them by just positioning them gradually till they fall in right places. So you can just use the test size to just treat it. Good. So when it falls in the direction where it works perfectly, then you accept it. Okay, for the sake of the length of the video, I want to pause here and continue with the other buttons in the next video. Bye bye.